What international law has to say about targeted assassinations? How do you reconcile both arrest warrants on the one hand and the fact that countries can unilaterally assassinate belligerents?
Well, I think those are, of course, two separate questions. As you mentioned, in May of this year, the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan, requested arrest warrants for 3 Hamas officials, as well as for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. This in itself really was a historic moment. It was the first time that the International Criminal Court, and indeed the first time that an international prosecutor anywhere since Nuremberg had requested arrest warrants against a Western ally. Up until now, the instruments of international criminal justice have been directed against vanquished adversaries, as in Nuremberg and Tokyo, against powerless African warlords, or against enemies of the West, like Vladimir Putin and Slobodan Milosevic. A lot of pressure on the court. We know that from revelations by The Guardian and the Israeli magazine 972, that for the last 10 years, the Israeli government, led by the head of the Mossad, have waged a campaign of intimidation, of hacking, of blackmail against 3 successive ICC prosecutors. Mafia style, things like, you better, like somebody handing them the prosecutor an envelope saying, you better do what we say, phones being tapped. But it's been a record amount of time. And there's a feeling that if these warrants are not issued, it could be the death knell, really, for the International Criminal Court, which was properly so active when Russia invaded Ukraine and began to commit massive crimes, and the warrants were issued against Vladimir Putin, and now nothing seems to be done. But what happens when powerful states don't observe those? This, my colleague from Gaza, Raji Sourani, one of the great international lawyers, has said that Gaza it could be the graveyard for international law.
If I may, it brings to question why Israel's pressure campaign has been so successful in preventing anything from being done, despite all of the kind of unprecedented developments that you just mentioned there.
The United States. And what, the ICJ decision on settlements and occupation said third states have an obligation not to do anything that facilitates Israel's occupation and the settlements. In another decision, the ICJ said that reminded states that they have an obligation to make sure that their arms transfers do not make them complicit in violations of the Geneva Conventions and the Genocide Conventions. The problem here is that countries, and in particular, unfortunately, the United States, has become complicit through its support of what Israel is doing. Under criminal law, if somebody goes out on a shooting spree, committing crimes, and then runs into your store to get more ammunition, and you give that, here's the ammunition, go out, you are complicit in a crime. The bombs that are falling on Gaza are American bombs. The bombs that are hitting hospitals are American bombs. The United States is making itself legally complicit in the Israeli crimes. And it's because of the United States that Israel is getting away with these things.